Good morning, Jim Hodges here, Charlie here. Charlie is a 2-year-old Yorkie that came in for a couple of reasons. One was our normal board and train dog training program, and the second was the off-lead recall or come command. What I'm going to do here in the video is just go through all the on-leash obedience, give you hand signals, give you tone of voice inflection, what I would do if he does what we ask, what I would do if he doesn't. Remember, everything we do is motivation, and motivation, in my belief, is trying to communicate with dogs the way they understand life, okay? When they're good, they're good. We're going to tell them they're good in the act of being good, and we're going to pet them at the same time. Points in time, if we want to use a treat and they're willing to work for a treat, we'll give them a treat when we reward them as well. But it's always good words and good touch. When he does something wrong, we're going to let him know that, okay? And how are we going to let him know that? We're going to let him know, first of all, with an or a no, but that's not it. We're going to accompany that with a tap of the leash, a spray bottle, avoidance, whatever the e-collar if necessary, whatever we need to show him in the moment with touch and words that we don't like what he's doing. At the end of that, we're going to turn right around once he's completed and we're going to praise him. Real simple. During the course of a day, we try to praise at least 20 times more than we consequence. It's really important. We're trying to have fun, be confident, make him enjoy, but also make him understand he has to listen. He's been one of these guys that's been in control of his own world a little bit. We started changing things. It started hard. It's getting better and better. At home, it's going to be the same thing, but he's really going to love you even more, and more importantly, he's going to respect you as leader as we go on. Okay? So the very first thing is let's go. When you're walking in the neighborhood or what have you, he needs to walk with you. Not out in front of you, but with you. Okay? The reason we want him walking with you is, one, we don't want him leading the walk, and two, we want to be there for two reasons. One, he's not going to react to other dogs in the neighborhood, or cats or squirrels, and two, if we're walking, we're here to protect him from those other dogs. I truly believe he's scared of some dogs, and I think it may have been an unfortunate incident sometime in his path, but that has led to a little bit of him barking and going crazy at other dogs. Okay? So listen to my tone of voice. Let's go. Atta boy. As he's doing what we ask, we let him know. The leash is a loose leash. We don't want it tight. When it's tight, we're telling him what to do and doing it for him. When it's loose, he's got to go with me. Sit. Break. So we're walking. If he started to go out in front of me, I would see how he reacted. I would tap the leash back. I wouldn't pull it. Again, pulling's doing the work for him, but I would tap it. Let's go. Good boy. I would praise him in the act of doing what we ask him to do. Okay? So let's go, the come command or what have you, we tap the leash in the direction we want him to go. Tap is just like that. We're not yanking it or anything. Tap, okay? So that's let's go. Let's go. Atta boy. Sit. Hand signal for sit. Now sit means sit. He has to stay in that sit until I release him, okay? If he was to get out of the sit right now, I would tell him no and tap straight up. Don't want to concern him. No, sit, break. And then after I bid him, no, sit, I would come back and praise once we got it right, okay? Break. I don't keep dogs in a long sit. Typically for a couple of minutes is at the excess. Normally 15 seconds, 30 seconds a minute is all I need them to sit. But when they sit, they have to stay in that sit until I release them. If he was to get up and get out of the sit, I would take him back to where he was. No, 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 sit. Good boy. Remember, hand signal for sit is like this. Tap it. No, sit. I'm not sure if he was in a sit or not. I don't think he was, but I'm going to think he was, and I was going to tap him up. But now I don't believe he was. But we would tell him to sit. He has to sit. Hand signal here. Let's go. Sit. Good boy. Let's go. Atta boy. Come on. We're going to walk around a little bit more. Sun is starting to come into the play. Sit. Now I'm going to give him the DOWN from in front. Down. Notice my hand is straight up. When we tell him to down, he has to down. My hand up like this is for a command out in front of him. It's a different command when we're beside him. Good boy. He has to stay in that sit until I release him. Now, down, we can keep him in it for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. But quite honestly, if you could do it more than 2 minutes, you would take your palm, open palm, put it over his face like that, and tell him to S-T-A-Y, stay. That means pack his bags. He doesn't have to pay attention, but he has to stay in that down command. Just a little bit of time, he's holding it, waiting for the next command. Let's go. Down. Good. So you see, I didn't have to have him sit to down. I could have him standing, doing whatever he needed to do to down. If he did not down, I would have tapped the leash downwards towards the ground. Step in, no, down, and then good boy. Sit. Good boy. Notice the tone of my voice to get him up into the sit. So now we're here beside, down, hand signal from the side. Okay? Why do I do this? It's because it's hard for him to see this from in front of me. And again, he's in the down until I release him. Just like with the sit, if he was to get up and move, we would get him and take him back. No, 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 down. Do all of this indoors, do this in your yard, but do it on leash to begin with as little distraction as possible to get him to the point that he can focus on you and you can focus on him without any distractions yourself. Let's go. Good boy. So we're going to turn, come back around, sit. Good. Now I'm going to do the C-O-M-E command. The come command, there's 2 forms. The one we're going to do is on leash. The come command is I give him a hand signal. It'll be like this. And he's to come to me and sit in front of me. And then once he's in that sit, he has to hold it. Come. Good boy. I'll pet him, love him. If I wanted to give him a treat, he's one of these strange guys. He doesn't always take a treat. Oh, he took one today. Atta boy. I give him a treat. I'm going to praise him and pet him when I'm giving him the treat. Good boy. Break. Sit. Let's go. The next thing is the PLAC, or place command. The place command is a bed command where we tell him to get on his bed. He can lay there, sit there, stand there. I don't care what he does as long as he stays on the bed. Okay, he can do this for an hour or 2 or more at a time. Good boy. Now, same thing with the sitter down. If he popped off of that place, I would get him, no, 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 place. Everything we're doing right now is on leash. We want to get him to the point that he's obeying 8 or 9 times out of 10 the first time we're asking, before we start trying to ask him to do things off leash. Now, there is a little caveat there. If you know beyond any shadow of the doubt he's going to obey you off leash when you give him a sit or a down, and you're going to know it. I know it when it's going to happen. You can give it to him off leash. In the event you're wrong, you're going to have to grab him and put him in there. He cannot get away with not obeying, or he'll learn that I might have to obey you, Mom or Dad, on leash, but off leash, I don't have to listen. And that's part of where the come has gotten to. Good boy. Right. Ah, boy, I'm proud of you. Let's go. The next thing is, I know he's allowed on furniture. There's not a problem with it. I personally believe that when he gets on furniture, it should be invited. But I'm going to let you make that decision. But when I do, I usually give him a command. It can be load up or hup or jump up on me. Let's demonstrate. Let's go. You can also use it to load into a car, but he's so small, I don't know about loading into a car will help that much. Hup. Atta boy. Good boy. Now, right there. And now he has to hold it until we release it. Place. Good boy. That's a good boy. Break. So that's all those obedience commands. I have one more. Sit. And that's the heel command. Let's go. Let's get out of that sun a little bit more. Good boy. Now, he sat automatically. I praised him. He's not in the sit this time. I know that for a fact. The heel command is when we have an imaginary box beside us, a rectangular box, and we want him to walk with us and stay right there beside us. When we walk, he stays in that box. If he starts to go out of that box, we would tap the leash in the direction we need him to go in. On the heel, when we stop, he sits automatically and holds it until we release him going to the next phase. Personally, I don't use the heel a lot except for demonstrations. There are purposes for it. But let's go serves really the same point as heel if you shorten up the leash. Remember, all leash handling should be loose. It does not need to be tight, or he's going to know there's something controlling him other than you. So I'm going to make some quick turns with him, but we're going to start the heel. Are you ready, buddy? Heel. Right there in the box. We walk, get out of the sunlight, stop, he sits. Good boy. Good, come. Good boy. Down. Sit. Let's go. Good, sit. Now we're going to go back to heel again. Heel. Now the other thing with obedience when you're working him, I'm working him pretty fast for video purposes. See how he followed right? Atta boy. Break. Now I want to give him a treat. I'll give him another treat. That was such a good boy. You notice how I'm working real fast on video? It's important that we change speeds, we change the pattern of doing things, and some commands we put him in and break them right off, the others we hesitate and let him hold it for 10 or 15 seconds. We don't want to become too predictable because then he'll start doing things in anticipation of what we're going to say next. You may see that happen. If it does, he's just telling you, you need to straighten up. Look, we're all going to make mistakes. Things happen in life. There's only one perfect being to ever walk this earth. As I said before, learn from your mistakes. Learn from the mistakes he makes. The way to stop him is to improve it in a positive way and guide him through where we need to go. Okay? It's not that hard to work. He's got a great foundation on training now. I already think he's benefiting it tremendously. I want it to benefit you. You know I'm always available by phone. My number's 336-945-3232. That's for you and for anybody else out there watching this video. You can find me at JimHodgesDogTraining.com, or you could even go to Facebook and type in Jim Hodges Dog Training. I want to help. I like to think this guy, and I know you love him to death. I want to think that these manners with a little bit of consistency is going to increase that love from him to you because he respects you. And it's just going to be so much more pleasing for family life at home. Thank you so much for trusting me and for Rachel, who's behind the camera, by the way. And again, if you need us, let us know. There's never, ever a charge for anything we've worked on. I may ask you to come to me, but there's never a charge on anything. We want to make sure that the things that we have trained are there for you forever. Okay? Thank you so much. Take care. Good boy. What you doing?